speak softly, and carry a big stick. These are the famous words of the 26th President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt. If you ask people what they thought of Theodore Roosevelt, these are probably the types of remarks you would hear. According to Michael Patrick Kalinin of the Smithsonian, he said after studying the president for 10 years that, quote, after a decade, I continue to be astonished by how regularly Roosevelt is invoked in politics and beyond. Then, in Edward Morris's Rise of Theodore Roosevelt, you would learn in the preface that many Jews across the world, quote, revered Roosevelt for his effort to halt the persecution of their co-religionists in Russia and Romania. I have a very similar impression and admiration for the Rough Rider. See, for me personally, Teddy Roosevelt is someone I try to be more like in my everyday life. Whether it was his profound reading and language skills, his undying love for the natural world and to learn more about it. However, my favorite trait about him was his drive of competition and to beat the odds, even though the cards were stacked against him at a young age. Soon after being born, Roosevelt started developing different illnesses, the big one being his asthma. For most of his life, he would be locked up indoors and be moved around New York City and the country to try to help cure his asthma. See, these illnesses had brought many difficulties into his life. However, that'll change when he was around the age of 14. And his father looked at him and said, Theodore, it's time to get to work. Just from that simple phrase, Theodore knew what his father was saying. From that day forward, Roosevelt lived his life as that he would say, strenuously. He would become a skilled boxer and wrestler, enrolled at Harvard at the age of 16, lead a ragtag group of cowboys into battle during the Spanish-American War, serve as the New York City's police commissioner, New York State governor, vice president, and then the youngest person ever to be elected to the presidency. Not bad for a man that was seen as puny when he was young. Roosevelt's story helps motivate me on a daily basis, and it reminds me, it doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you end. Thank you.